So the Node 202 is a very good looking small form factor case. It is black with a dark gray logo on the front, and the power button, USB, headphone jack, and the microphone jack are all blacked out. It has vents with dust filters where the power supply is, the CPU, and the graphics card. It also has a vent on the top that does not have a dust filter. So I don't see not having a vent on the top being that big of a deal unless you have animals. If you have animals, that could potentially be a problem since there's a lot of hair being kicked up in the air and they could fall back in there. Or if you lay the case on the side, you could get a lot of dust in there that way, especially if you have it on the floor. It also comes with 4 rubber feet, so when you lay it on its side, you don't scratch your tables. So if I had to describe building in the Node 202 in one word, I would describe it as simple. And that's because I got the one with the integrated power supply, and that provides all the cables you need for it. There's nothing extra, there's nothing missing. It's a straightforward build. There's only one way to build in it because that's the way it was designed. To open the case, all you have to do is remove 4 screws, lift up on the top part, flip it over, and then snap off the back. Again, here I have the model with the integrated power supply, and I would highly recommend getting the power supply included because all the cables are just the right length. The hardest part when it comes to building in the Node 202 is definitely the cables, just because you're in a really tight spot means that you have to actually really do cable management. You can't just throw them in there. So you have to use zip ties, and they provide plenty of places where you can zip tie the cables down. But I did find that I used way more zip ties than were included with the case. On my motherboard, the USB 3.0 port is actually, I think, a little further away than most motherboards, and I had to route that cable in between the heatsink and the PCI slot. The cables aren't that pretty with the rainbow color, but then again, this is not a showcase with a window, so it doesn't really bother me. After you get done with the cables, the hard part is over. Here near the front is where you can install 2 2.5-inch hard drives. This is all the hard drive space that you get in the whole entire case. The whole PCI slot comes out, allowing you to install the GPU with ease, and the GPU slot also has a support bracket for the GPU that you can adjust with these 2 screws here. There is a lot of room on the side of the GPU, enough to fit 2 120mm fans even with the GPU installed. Also, in the case of the part, this is where you can find all the dust filters for the power supply, GPU, and the CPU. Just note that you have to open up the case. Priced at just $79 for the case and $140 for the case with the integrated power supply, this is a steal. I think this is a really good looking option for someone who wants to go for this form factor. I personally am going to be putting this guy into my living room setup, and I am going to turn it kind of into a console killer where I can play games in my living room. But more than that, I want to be able to play games with friends, so I'm going to actually do a whole nother video where I show you guys how to hook up 4 controllers to it so you guys can actually, play some games with some friends. And I think that that's something that a lot of people want to do but don't know how to. So I'm going to kind of go over how I do that. Anyways, if you want to see that video, make sure you're subbed to the channel, like this video if you liked it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.